Hi and welcome again to my channel. I'm Jermaine and you're joining me here in my Zone 8 garden in Switzerland, Central Europe. Today I'm here in my front yard and I'm going to be planting bulbs, lots of them. Let's take a look at what we have going on. Before we start, let's take a look at some of the containers that I've already planted with bulbs. I have this large one here that is currently covered to protect the bulbs against the elements. I'll be showing you that later on in the video. For now, however, let's take a look at those 3 layered bulb containers that are by the roadside. Now, you may have seen a short from me showing how I put together one of these bulb lasagna containers. However, for the 2 with the maple trees that you see here, I just decided that I was not going to take out the Japanese maple trees, and I just planted the bulbs around the tree, layering them in such a way that I have a variety of bulbs. So all of the bulbs that I put in the lasagna arrangements are spring bulbs that will bloom at different periods. And I've decided to go with the Japanese maple trees because it's going to lose its leaf during the winter and there will be no foliage in spring. So it's kind of safe to do that with these small trees. I might make a short video about bulb lasagna or layered bulbs showing how I put these 3 containers together. But for now, we just have to wait for spring to see how they all come to life and how the bulbs come out. Now let me get back into the garden and work on the containers or the bulbs that I plan to plant today. Today really is going to be about these 2 containers. This corner over here where we currently have the phantom hydrangea, and probably I'll be putting a few things under that tree, under the chestnut tree. So which bulbs are we talking about here? I have these irises, sabericas, that I've been, they've been around for some time now and they've already started developing leaves, as you can see in there. So it's about time that I put them in the ground. And then I have a crocuses that I need to plant. I have alliums here and daffodils and some tulips. So I'm going to go ahead and just distribute and place everything where I want to have it. So I'm thinking the irises would probably go down here. And then we have the crocuses that I'll probably put in these containers together with the tulips, and the alliums are going to go here. So I probably have to take out that phantom hydrangea. I mean, I love that it's here, but I want to see what it would look like if we had alliums growing in this section, in this small bed that is surrounded by the boxwoods. So I'm going to be planting lots of alliums there. So before we progress, I've removed all the soil from this container, and this one I have just decided to leave the soil inside and perhaps amend it with some compost. Here I'm going to be putting in fresh compost, so that will be the only difference. We'll see next year how everything is coming together. So this is a double tulips mix of different colors that I'm planting here. I would like my tulips to grow like a bouquet in a group, and which is why I am grouping them. And I'll be burying them 10 to 15 centimeters deep. Now moving on to the irises. They're supposed to start blooming from May until about June, July. I'm going to open these and see what I have. Okay. So I just opened this pack now and I'm supposed to have 5 roots in here, but I think I've lost 2 because this is one right here. It has already begun to form leaves, and we have another one here, and the other 3 I just can't feel it. I think this one is rotten, and this, I don't know if it's going to make it. This, oh, this is still good. So this one is still good. So I have 3 good ones and 2 well, that I'm not quite sure about. I'm going to put everything in and then we'll see how everything comes together in spring, I guess. I've decided to plant them in a pot. I'm a bit worried about drainage around this tree, so I'll be planting them in a planter. So I have my iris roots in now. I've tried to position them as best as I can with the root side showing down, and now I'm just going to cover them with some compost right there. So let's hope that will do the trick. So iris need good drainage and lots of sun, which is why I prefer to put them in this planter that I can move around, but also to not have to worry about drainage because they don't like to be in the wet soil. And making sure that everything else is covered. The sun is up and it's feeling much better. It's getting warmer. So I've done the 2 containers now with bulbs. I've planted the iris roots, and now it's time to head to the alliums. So I'm going to go ahead now and remove that phantom hydrangea and put it in a pot, and then I'll see next year where I want to plant it. And by the way, I wanted to show you how I covered this container that I recently planted with bulbs. I literally just put, some sticks that I found in the garden, and I covered it up with this. And you can see that when there's water doesn't get in. So the bulbs are well protected. But the container is big enough and it has good drainage, so even if I were to leave it open, I would not have a problem. All right, just to give a quick update, what I'm doing here is basically just amending the soil on this side. I've added a layer of compost now. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a slow release fertilizer. And then I'm just going to mix that all in and get the bed ready for the allium planting. All right, the bed is ready now, and I'm going to be putting the alliums in. These are the alliums that I ordered online, and they just came in with 1, 2, and 3. And now I found a pack, and 1, 2, and 3, we do have some Allium gigantums in there. Alliums are generally known as the easiest bulbs to grow, so I'm counting a bit on that because I'm completely lost here. However, I've provided them with good soil conditions and some slow release fertilizer, so I hope that will do the trick. So I'll be looking forward to summer next year to seeing how all of this comes together. So I have a few anemone leftover bulbs here from the roadside container project. I'm just going to put them in here, and that will be a good way to see how things are beginning to grow next year. So I'm just going to pop them in there and watch them grow next spring. Yeah, I have one more left in there somewhere. So there we have it. So up next are the daffodils. So it's day 2 over here, and I'm working in the afternoon now where we have much better weather. And as you can hear, my neighbors are also taking advantage of this beautiful day with the engine noise that is coming out of their own garden. Meanwhile, I still need to wrap up here. So those are my daffodils. They are fragrant daffodils, a mix of 25 bulbs. And I have my containers filled with compost, and they all have a drainage hole at the bottom. So I'm going to be putting my daffodils in there. I'll be covering that with about 15 centimeters of compost throughout. Let's quickly summarize what I did today, or yesterday and today. Anyways, so I started off by planting the bulbs in this container a couple of days ago. And here we will be observing the growth of the tulips when they are covered in a planter or container during the winter time. And then I have the bulbs that I planted yesterday in these two large containers over here. I'm going to be keeping one of the planters completely open. I will not be closing it or protecting it in any way from the elements, and I'm doing that to be able to observe and see if there will be any impact as far as the growth of the bulbs is concerned come spring next year. And under here, for these other small containers, I'll be doing the same. I have two that I've topped with fall plants, and the two others are going to remain completely open. And then I have the container here with the irises that we'll be observing as well. How do irises grow in a container? To finish off, I planted the alliums in this corner over here. So that was it. I hope you liked the video. I'm so excited to see what is going to happen in spring next year. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in our next video. Bye bye.